All right, the Georgia Bulldogs win a rock'em sock'em affair, a real actual blowout over the Michigan Wolverines. Recording this kind of late, just because it's been one of those days, and it was a solid night for Georgia. Stetson Bennett was very good to exceptional with his feet, particularly, and it was just a total beating. I really don't know what else to say about it. This Georgia team has come a long way, seemingly in the last month, and they will get their crack again at Alabama, and we'll just see how that game goes. It's going to be freezing cold in Indianapolis, but that game will be indoors. Georgia was just so much better than Michigan tonight that I mean, you kind of wonder if Cincinnati would have beaten Michigan. It just was not a competitive game. I thought Georgia might have some trouble, but they didn't. And the way they played, you can see why they are an early favorite in this game coming up against Alabama. But they're going to have to play the same way they did tonight in order to win. And I think that you have to take, I mean, clearly have to take Alabama seriously in every single way. And, um, other than that, I don't know. I mean, this is a Georgia team that looks, I mean, they're the only team. There's two teams that can win the national championship, Georgia and Bama. That's it. And, Georgia is favored in that game. I don't know. I mean, there's no spectacular player you got to shut down. It's a collection of misfit toys, for lack of a better term, and they're going to be hard to beat, just the way that Alabama's going to be hard. We got the best two teams in the country, apparently nobody else is close. But tonight, I mean, this was a total beatdown. I thought it was no one's. Oh, we didn't talk about this at all, but I thought it was curious that Jim Harbaugh called timeouts in the fourth quarter. I mean, that was odd. Going for two, that was strange. So those things were to me odd. I'm not sure I understood those things. I also didn't think it was a big deal. But this team post game was what's the word? Not overly happy. I guess you could say. I mean, they wanted to win. They were winning, and they were just so much better than Michigan. I mean, I'm trying to remember of a single play that Michigan hit that was kind of a scary play. I mean, Kendrick got beat on a play when Georgia was down, what, 17-3 or something, like 17-0, whatever it was. Georgia was up 17-0. And, that looked like a play where, hey, maybe that's going to be something that could hurt Georgia. He comes back and makes a pick in the end zone, makes a fabulous pick on the Michigan sideline. Kendrick really played well tonight. He got burned on the one play, but he said after the game it was just about you know continuing to play and continuing to compete. And this Georgia team is now going to get its shot at Alabama once more. They have been told over and over again, understandably, they did not play well, that how many times they've lost to Alabama and all this stuff. They can't overthink it. I mean, this is a team that this is just one game. It's not. We're not playing. This is the 15th game. We don't have to play all 14 before it again, including game 13, which was Georgia Bama. So I, I I mean, there's a reason people are saying that Georgia is the betting favorite. This is a great opportunity for the dogs. I was really happy for Kirby and his family. They were all on the field at the end of that game, and to see his parents, obviously his three children, his wife. It's a collective family affair, and he's spent a lot of time sacrificing to get to this position. I've said this for a long time. Continue to going to say it. It's time. It's not like winning the national championship is that difficult. It's hard, but Dabo Swinney has done it twice. I mean, Dabo Swinney, come on now. Gene Chiswick Les Miles, Easy Ed Orgeron, Larry Coker. There are people who have won the national championship and have been fired at their schools. So it's time. I mean, Kirby has established himself as an elite recruiter. He's established himself as a very good coach. But what's also been established is that they have not yet beaten Alabama, and it's time. I mean, it's not that. I mean, people like Texas A&M has beaten them, Auburn has beaten them, Clemson has beaten them. Georgia's been a better program than those schools over the last 4 years, basically. Certainly over the last three. So I just it's it's one of those things that they just got to do it. I don't think it's something they can't do. I mean, I'm not saying I expect it. They're going to have a real fight on their hands, but it's time for them to do it. And if you were the only team you were going to go through is Alabama. That's it. It's not like you're going to go through the Gators or something like that. I mean, the the team you have to deal with right now in college football is Alabama, and it just so happens for Georgia and LSU and everybody else that they're in your league, so it makes it even more difficult because you got to probably do it twice, if not certainly once. So Georgia's the only trophy they've hoisted this year is the Orange Bowl trophy, which was one they weren't super pumped about hoisting to begin with tonight. They were having fun, but they were, they know that this season is on the line and they have 10 days to get ready for a real fight in Indianapolis with the best of the best, which is Alabama, the program. I mean, Nick, listen, there's nothing more I can say about Nick that hadn't already been said. He's the greatest coach in college football history, period. And Georgia will have to do its best to beat him. It's going to be hard to do, but this team can do it. And I loved what Stetson said tonight after the game. This wasn't about proving people wrong. This was about going out and doing what was supposed to be done, and they did. So if they play the way they did tonight, they will probably win against Alabama. But they probably are going to have to play the way they did tonight to beat Alabama. I expect a barn burner. They're favored just under 3 points. That is a virtual toss up. Like Georgia should probably win, but there's no I mean, this isn't a 7 point line. So if you can't totally know who's going to win this game. It wouldn't be just stupid like picking Cincinnati against Alabama. This would be anybody you pick in this game. It makes it. I want to hear the reason why, but like to say, oh, they just haven't beaten them. That's not a real reason. I mean, that's just something people say. So I don't know. I think this is a great chance for them, and they've got to take advantage of it. They have not taken advantage of it of late, but this is a great chance for them to do what they need to do, which is win the national championship. All right, I'm going to sign off here from Fort Lauderdale. An amazing win for Georgia over Michigan Wolverines, a team that was just not ready to play at the level Georgia's at. They're not. And this crowd in Indianapolis could be a pretty significant Georgia crowd. I know a lot of people have voiced that they were not going to come to this game because they were waiting on the Indy game. And there's only so many times you can spend $600 on tickets. I mean, you can't do it forever. But Georgia, a huge winner tonight. I can't remember the final score. I know Michigan had 11 points, which is strange to me, but whatever. And I think it was 34-11, something like that. But the 2 point conversion and then the timeouts, I don't know. It's kind of silly. But Georgia will play for the national championship against the Alabama Crimson Tide in 10 days in Indianapolis. We'll have everything leading up to that game. Make sure you're over on dogpost.com. We'll see you over on the website.